Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I apologize. I had a hard time finding that mute button. My vision is not the best. Okay. Well, I have a couple questions, and I appreciate y'all being here today and testifying. Mr. Ford, I've heard proposals to change the minimum broadband speed requirements from 25 down, 3 up, to a symmetric service of upwards of 100, 100. Under the current standard, my district is largely served, except for a portion that I'll address shortly. But under 100, 100, there would actually be large unserved areas around the Tampa Bay area, the 18th largest metropolitan area in the country. Are symmetrical speeds consistent with how consumers have used broadband service? Is this a realistic expected future consumer usage rate? And that question is for Mr. Ford, please.
No, that is not the way broadband is consumed, and I don't think the 100-100 proposal has anything to do with trying to match the way people consume broadband. It's motivated by other reasons.
What is it motivated for? Can you expand on that a little bit?
It's basically motivated because that's what fiber networks are generally designed to do, although they don't have to. They often do because they have so much excess bandwidth. So they offer symmetric circuits. So if you have a broadband definition of symmetry, particularly at 100 or more gig, symmetric gig, which some people have proposed, then you're basically saying the only broadband is fiber broadband.
Okay, thank you. Another question for Mr. Ford. The pandemic has demonstrated how important the internet is for our seniors and our disabled residents to stay in touch with loved ones and take advantage of telehealth services. But these groups in rural areas may not have access to broadband. In some cases, they don't. Additionally, I represent the small community of Lakuchi, whose residents have been begging for internet access for years, especially after local children had to access internet on buses deployed around East Pasco County to connect with teachers for distance learning, even in our great country. Mr. Ford, how does it help our seniors, our kids, and the disabled community in rural areas catch up in internet connectivity by increasing minimum standards? If you can elaborate on that, I know you touched on it. That would be good. It seems to me that the people who were next in line under our current coverage standards will now be pushed to the back of the line yet again. Is that true? What do you think?
I mean, there's certainly the risk of that. If the funding of broadband in unserved areas is linked directly to a symmetric 100 megabit circuit, then you're going to have a higher cost network, and they're going to be less likely to get it. So you could actually see it backfire against the present goal of expanding availability, and by giving a service that really nobody would use. If you give them a 100 megabit upstream circuit, they're only going to use 5% of that probably at max. So it pushes you into a technological solution that may be more expensive than other solutions that would solve your problem.
Well, thank you very much. In closing, Mr. Chairman, let us not forget the work that the providers did for our communities during the height of this pandemic, and they're still doing it, keeping people connected, even if constituents found themselves without the ability to pay for services. They have gone above and beyond as partners as we transition to the remote world, and their input and concerns should continue to be valued today, and I know they are. I want to put a plug in, because I have a couple seconds, for With Lakuchi Electric. It's a nonprofit, and With Lakuchi has transformed this wonderful town of Lakuchi. And Lakuchi is famous for many famous athletes, and what a difference it's made when a little love is spread into a community. But we've got to get broadband for those good people. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I yield back and beat 'em Bucks.